One of the things hopefully it will do for Coach Mike McCarthy, take a little of the heat off of him. He's in the final year of his contract, didn't get an extension. He has to earn it. Here he is after last night's 20-15 win over the New York Giants, talking about the Cowboys' second victory of the season.
And winning's always a great thing, especially on the road. Road wins are the best. Division games, you can add another layer to it. So, yeah, we feel great about what we accomplished tonight, but I think it's, for the fourth week in a row, we realize that we have a lot of work to do. I mean, that's really the first four-quarter game we've played. I mean, it was a complimentary football game. I wish we'd have been able to drive the ball more offensively. I just felt like we left our defense out there a bit much. That long swing right before the half, and then, they came right back here in that first drive in the third quarter. So, I thought that was very challenging for our defense and for them to continue to fight. But I think the biggest thing was, we were able to, frankly, I feel like it's the first game I called, for 4 quarters.
But that's the key, because it was a close game for 4 quarters. It wasn't a blowout one way or the other. Week 1, blowout that went the Cowboys' way. Week 2 and 3, blowout that went the other team's way, although the Cowboys made a mad scramble at the end to try to make it interesting because the Ravens have a habit of falling apart in the fourth quarter and basically taking their foot off the gas. This was hard-fought 4 quarters, stay focused, exactly what they needed. Even if the Giants aren't one of the great teams in the NFL, going on the road, extending their mastery of the Giants. It was 13 straight wins by Dak Prescott over the Giants. I think it's now 14 out of 15, and I'm correct. 14 out of 15 wins by the Cowboys over the Giants. And it was almost like the Cowboys were in a no-win situation because they're supposed to win this game. And if they do, we still don't really believe in them. And if they lose, it's a disaster. And it would have been a disaster, but I think this is the best outcome. They got the win, and maybe it toughens them up mentally for what's to come. Because these next 2 games, you're going to be 2-2 and maybe 2-4 if you don't go in there and take one of these 2 games against great opponents like the Steelers and the Lions.
Yeah, but if you're the Cowboys, you don't look 2 weeks ahead. You really just focus on this one game. You won, you go, you watch tape. Friday, Saturday, you study what you've done right, what you've done wrong, and then you make the necessary corrections and you move forward. I'm sure the game's not another, 10 days? They get, 7, 8, 9, 10 days before they have to play. So, my thing is the run game. I thought Rico Dowdle, he didn't have a lot of yards per se. He had like 40-something yards, but I thought he ran the ball well. I thought he did a pretty good job of, he's not a super big guy, but I thought it was enough just to respect the run. You had to respect the run. My big question is in the passing game with Brandon Cooks. You're the number 2 receiver, and you have 1 catch. The first 2 games, you have 2 catches. He's not that big of a factor, because when you start playing against really good quality defenses, and Shane Bowen, he did a good job the first couple weeks, but when you're playing against quality defenses, they're going to take away CeeDee Lamb. They're going to double team CeeDee Lamb. You're going to need Brandon Cooks. You're going to need Jake Ferguson, who I was excited about them including in the offense and him taking part of the offense because I think he can serve as a big factor. But I'm looking at Brandon Cooks, that number 2 receiver, and I just know how easy it is to take away a slot guy like CeeDee Lamb, or if he plays out wide at the wide receiver spot, you double team him, you take him away, and you force the Cowboys to go elsewhere. And you play physical with these guys. You jam them at the line of scrimmage. You make their life miserable. And that's what you're going to have to do if you want to slow these guys down.
This is what happened last year too, Rodney. The passing numbers were so skewed towards CeeDee Lamb. He had 1,749 yards for the season, and Brandon Cooks was more than 1,000 behind him, almost 1,100 behind him with 657. Michael Gallup was on the team. He's not there anymore. Jake Ferguson had his yards as the tight end. But you need a competent number 2, you're right, who can take advantage of the matchups that happen when they do what they can to take away CeeDee Lamb, although do what they can to take away CeeDee Lamb, and he still has 98 yards and a touchdown. And you mentioned the running game. All right, Rico Dowdle had 46 yards on 11 carries, 4.2 yards per carry. Ezekiel Elliott, not nearly the guy he used to be, 19 yards on 5 carries. I just don't think they commit to run because they've committed so much money to the passing game. When you give CeeDee Lamb a market value contract, when you make Dak Prescott the highest paid player in football, you feel compelled to use them. And I feel like one of the reasons they get away from the run is because this is what we do. This is where we've allocated our resources. If we don't do it, people are going to say, why'd you give all that money to CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott?
Yeah, and I just wrote down Pat and stats. That's what I wrote down because at the end of the day, wide receivers are concerned about their stats. CeeDee Lamb, he's looking at the paper. He's looking how many Jamar Chase has, how many, all these top receivers have, Tyreek Hill has. At the end of the day, it's about winning football games. And once again, that's the message from the head coach. Guys, we can't worry about how many numbers, what your numbers are. We have to worry about winning football games. And I think sometimes, coaches get into this situation where they're trying to appease the star player and really takes the entire offense out of whack. I like what they did last night. They got him some touches early, some quick throws, got him in the backfield, got him going, got him excited about the game. And it seemed like everyone else kind of jumped in and got excited. But CeeDee Lamb is a superstar, no question about it. And like I said, he has to handle himself a lot better, but I'm glad he came back. He apologized, and he made it right with his teammates. And Dak looked really good. I thought he looked poised. I thought he looked confident. And I thought he did a good job of kind of spreading the ball around. This is one of his better games.
And you mentioned appeasing the star players. I mean, let's look at it practically, Rodney. Dak Prescott's going to be there for years to come. CeeDee Lamb's going to be there for years to come. Mike McCarthy has no guarantee beyond this year. You appease the stars, maybe they go to bat for you when it's time to put in a word to the boss as to whether or not they want to have Mike McCarthy back. So it all works together. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.